certain models as feeling smooth or sluggish.
That's true.
All these words about texture that aren't literal, but everyone understands them. There's clearly something happening at a subconscious level that we all feel. I realized that this was going to be the key.
That's amazing.
It really is.
I remember that when I designed an analog clock, I spoke to an engineer about it. They explained that every time the second hand moves forward, it actually springs back just a tiny bit. I had no idea, but it's part of the movement.
Right.
It's inevitable.
It's the mechanism.
Inertia. So when you create a digital version, you need to add something similar. Otherwise, it looks subtly wrong.
Yes, I've tried programming one before, and if the second hand is too rigid, it looks off somehow.
Exactly.
It has to vibrate a little as it moves. I spent so much time making adjustments to try and get that right.
I thought so.
Fukasawa designed these glasses for a Taiwanese tableware brand. The idea was to create glasses for everyday use.
This glass, when I saw it earlier, I was quietly surprised. When you put it down and look at it like this, well, it's an ordinary cup, I guess. But take a closer look, and you'll see that it has a slightly rounded edge at the bottom, or that it bulges out slightly here. It's a lovely shape. It has a bit of personality, but nothing too jarring or too forward. It's just right.
It doesn't shout for attention.
I feel like the chairs earlier tapped into a sort of universal shape.
Yes.
They're just ordinary.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Normal.
Can you explain?
The shape is very delicately and carefully controlled. When a designer is asked to create glasses, I think most people imagine wine glasses or whiskey tumblers, something with a bit of heft. But I wanted something ordinary and yet gentle, kind. So I designed a normal, ordinary glass, something you might drink water from.
I think that's a wonderful word for the designs. It's not a word you hear very often in design, but they really do feel kind.
People use the term user-friendly about interfaces, right? That links back to kindness. You don't want the user to have to think about all the difficult stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Instead, you hold their hand and guide them through the steps. I think physical objects share the same spirit, and that's expressed through their shape.
Fukasawa's glassware series covers many different types of glass. Yet they all share the same gentle detail in their design.
I was asked for 200 varieties, and we've done about 70 or so at the moment. They told me to use the same visual language for all of them. I thought about what that language might be and suggested that we use this curve, this one right here. So the wine glasses, for example, have the same soft, gentle curve down here. That's sort of the foundation of the whole language. With stackable cups, you expect hard lines, right? The line here where the glasses stack is much softer than usual. This goes back to our topic of emergence. I hadn't predicted this outcome at all. I thought the curve would make stacking much more difficult. Instead, the result is much prettier than you expect from stackable glasses. I love how it turned out.
I love that the everyday and the special live side by side in these designs. I think that might be the Fukasawa signature. A special kind of normal.
I hope so.
How do you find that sweet spot?
It's a series of tiny adjustments, I think. One change goes too far, but another doesn't go far enough. You discover the parameters that work for that particular design.
Why does your personal comfort zone match so well with those of others? I feel like this is a riddle without an answer.
It is a bit. But people in relationships all live in that undefined middle space, don't they? Our relationships with objects and with other people. We change our attitudes depending on context. I think design is the same. Am I pushing too hard on this issue? Am I ignoring this one? It's just expressing that comfort zone through form.
I feel that you have a knack for finding a comfort zone that encompasses a very wide audience. You manage to stay dead center within that zone. It's like it's instinctual. Were you born with that ability?
Oh, definitely not. Well, I suppose I can't say for certain, but I do believe that most people will find the same things appealing. I've spent years working on defining that comfort zone in various ways. I don't tie myself in knots coming up with complicated solutions for projects. You could call it creative confidence, I guess. I think we both believe that what we find familiar will work for most people. And that we have to take that and turn it into a concrete product.
Do you have that as well?
I don't think I share that kind of confidence. I create specific solutions for specific problems, but I don't have the gift for universal ones. Is it a gift? I feel as though it requires a special genius that a designer like Fukasawa-san is simply born with. That would certainly make me feel better. He's just a genius, you know?
That's not true at all. I spent over 10 years creating super cool styles and designs. I did my best to come up with sharp, beautiful looks. Cool stuff, you know?
Flashy design.
Exactly. And I took pictures, and I was proud of it at the time. Then one day I wondered why it all seemed so dull. All this affected coolness looked so boring. And I took a step back. I think that's when it changed. I could see all the pressure I was creating for myself. That's when I started to seek comfort instead. I began to believe that it was out there and that I could find it. I'd been pushing and trying so hard to be cool all that time, so that instinct definitely wasn't something I was born with. All my designs after that moment have that normal thread, that lack of strain. I think removing that pressure is extremely important.
Next time, we explore Yugo Nakamura's interface design. Discover the future of creativity.